Hello and welcome. You are on to another edition of the Hallowed Chambers, our program that highlights major happenings in the National Assembly.
We bring to you another week of resolutions, motions and investigative functions undertaken by your federal lawmakers in the past week and how they affect governance in the country. I'm Somna Sambo.
And I'm Joke Adisa.
In this edition,
House of Representatives Probe Committee uncovers staggering amount of funds not remitted to National Treasury. Senate Investigative Committee to extend probe to states that accessed bailout funds since 2015.
The House of Representatives had a committee probing alleged missing crude oil fund continues to make some staggering revelations.
it says it has uncovered $81.2 billion crude oil and gas proceeds not remitted into the Federation account for 4 years.
The committee, which sat for 4 days last week, had frowned at the semi-non-cooperative attitude of major stakeholders, including the NNPC, in the execution of its assignment. The panel, it was learned, had analyzed documents from various sources, including the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NAITI, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the NNPC, among others. The other committee, chaired by Representative Abdulrazak Namdas from Adamawa State, had dispatched questions to the NNPC, demanding answers. The committee also noted that the total receipts from crude proceeds between 2011 and 2014 stands at $123.9 billion. The legislators say the corporation declared only $42.7 billion, a figure which was confirmed by the CBN.
The Senate Committee on States and Local Government Administration is now set to extend its investigation on bailout funds to states that have accessed the funds from the federal government since 2015.
Chairman of the committee, Senator Abdullahi Gumel, who made this known during the week in Abuja, disclosed that the investigation was prompted by allegations that some states that accessed the funds diverted them to other uses, thereby leaving a backlog of salary arrears.
On whether the National Assembly has oversight powers over states, the lawmakers said the committee was specifically investigating the disbursement of the bailout funds which it had powers over. Senator Gumel said that those state assemblies had oversight powers over the states. The assignment of the committee was based on funds given to states by the federal government, which owns the money.
The Joint Committee on National Security and Intelligence, as well as Public Procurement of the House of Representatives, is calling for memoranda from principal actors.
This is in order to aid its work as it begins an investigative hearing into the records of the disbanded Presidential Arms Probe Panel.
The Joint Committee is probing the panel's activities between January 2012 and May 2015 and is requesting position papers from 241 firms and top government officials. Expected to appear before the lawmakers include the chairman and members of the Joint Ode Arms Probe Panel, the National Security Advisor, Defense Minister, Finance Minister, and the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, among others.
Speaker Yakubu Dogara was one of Nigeria's leaders to commiserate with the family of Kaduna businessman Hamadu Chechangi, who died at 82 on Wednesday. Dogara expressed sadness as the news of the death of the businessman filtered in a statement issued by his media aide.
While commiserating with the family and associates of the late business mogul, the speaker described the late Chechangi as a great philanthropist and community leader whose legacy of charity and humanitarian service endeared him to many people. Dogara admonished the children and grandchildren to emulate the virtues of honesty and hard work which the late patriarch represented.
Also condoling the Chechangi family, Senate President Bukola Saraki, in a statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Yusuf Olanionu, says the late Chechangi will be missed for his philanthropy, diligence, management finesse, and humble lifestyle.
He commiserated with the immediate family of the deceased, especially his son, Honorable Rufai Chechangi, a member of the 8th House of Representatives, the people in government of Kaduna and Taraba states.
The Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, fears the conduct of the population census in 2018 may be marred by political interests. Dogara appeals to those individuals and groups clamoring for the exercise to hold next year to exercise patience till after the 2019 general election, when there will be no political pressure to manipulate the outcome. The Speaker believes if the exercise is conducted at the niche of election, there may be so much pressure, crisis, and the lure for people to manipulate the figures for political reasons, such that the National Population Commission may be overwhelmed. He insists the exercise is better left to a fresh administration to commence immediately after taking the mantle of leadership in 2019.
Chairman Senate Committee on Army, Senator George Akume, has called for concerted efforts between states and federal government to curtail the herdsmen and farmers' clashes ongoing in Benue, Kaduna, and other states. In an interview with TVC News, Senator Akume lamented the Benue killings, saying Benue federal lawmakers and Governor Samuel Otom are working hard to ensure that perpetrators of the violence are arrested and prosecuted. Senator Akume also urged community leaders and politicians to watch their utterances so as not to escalate the crisis while solutions are being put in place.
You also have criminals masquerading as these Fulanis. When people say we're not doing much, we can always pass resolutions, we can move motion, we can also call on the federal government to take a look at this. I have spoken to the president on this issue too. And so when people say we're not doing much, we are doing whatever we can. It is not an issue that is restricted to Benue State alone. Even in Sokoto, sometimes you have these clashes, Kebbi and so on and so forth. There are some of them are cattle rustlers and so on and so forth. And of course, down south, whether Fayoshe carries them, some of the cows and all. It's not the issue. There is a huge problem that also requires a comprehensive national approach.
We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll bring to you updates on the oversight activities of lawmakers this week.
To contribute, you can tweet at us at TVC Connect, hashtag the Hallowed Chambers. Stay with us.
The Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Mounting Humanitarian Crisis in the Northeast has lauded the suspension of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, describing it as a commendable decision that will engender more credibility in governance.
Chairman of the committee, Senator Shehu Sani, in an interview with TVC News, says it is highly commendable for the President to have taken such a decision, which was long overdue. We'll start very quickly, sir, with what we all saw during the week, the President holding the big hammer to actually suspend the SGF. Is your committee, or the Nigerian Senate, as it were, are you satisfied with that step?
It is commendable that the President has now decided to reset his anti-corruption crusade. The public perception hitherto was the very fact that he fights people who are not in the ruling party or who are not outside of the inner circle of power, and he treats those who breach the law that are within his inner cabinet. He gives them a different treatment. Now, what he has done is more or less given more hope and confidence to Nigerians that here we are with a leader that can equally deal with his friends as much as he deals with his adversaries. And like I've said, courage is dispensing justice, but the greater courage is dispensing justice against your emotions and the temptations of serving your friends. And he has been able to demonstrate that with what he has done. But we have to be cautiously optimistic because an SGF was suspended, but also it is still about an in-house investigation.
Yes, that brings me to my next question. The three-man committee headed by the Vice President, will you be so confident that this committee will do justice in view of the fact that, of course, we have the regular anti-corruption agencies? Don't you think this kind of investigation should have gone to any of these agencies?
Well, the setting up of three-man committee to me is strange because when there are weighty allegations of corruption against persons, they are sent to the relevant institutions, which is the police, the ICPC, or the EFCC. But a three-man committee, including one member who cleared the SDF last few months ago, also raises issues. As far as I'm concerned, I cannot say in full. First of all, I 100% commend our president for the action which he has taken, but I cannot, in fact, vouch my credibility that the committee that was set up in-house will also reach the same conclusion with us, those of us from the National Assembly, on this matter.
Can you give us an insight into this, what many people have come to see as the fact that 200 million naira was spent in clearing weeds? You know, that is, of course, is one thing that is trending among Nigerians. Could you just give us a further insight into that particular allegation?
It was strange that the Pine can allocate 2 million naira for feeding of IDPs and donated 50 million naira for conferences on IDPs. And secondly, they gave out contract for the construction of temporary shelters to the IDPs, which was about 1,800 units. And we went to Bordeaux and Yobe and found none. And then for the grass cutting, which now became the symbol of the whole process and the whole investigation, it was not 230 million that was spent on the grass cutting. It was over 500 million. The 200 and plus million was the second batch of the money given. And they said they used the money to cut grass, in quote. But we invited communities, local government officials, and stakeholders where this so-called grass, in quote, was cut. But we were surprised. They too found out that it was strange. And how can you have used such colossal amount of money? And right now, as I'm talking to you, if you go there, you will still see the grass that they say they removed for over 500 million naira.
We know that in the build-up to this recent happening, there were issues between the Nigerian Senate and the presidency. Had calls to see the APC leadership come to the National Assembly to broker truce. Could this be one of the agreements to actually broker the truce, considering the fact that you still have a number of nominees that are yet to be cleared by the Senate?
Well, you see, the National Assembly or the Parliament is an institution. It's an indispensable institution in a genuine democratic setting. But what is happening between the Parliament and the executive arm of the state is of concern, but it's also normal. And I believe the party came in a little too late to intervene. But the question is, does the party itself, is it taken seriously by the presidency? Those were some of the issues that senators raised when the party came. Because it is strange for a ruling party with a majority in the National Assembly in both arms to have a nominee coming from the president and then you have him shut down. It means that the party and the elements within the ruling party have not been doing their job as it's supposed to be done. And as far as I'm concerned, I knew that this is one issue of contention, the issue of the SGF, but it's not only that. And I believe that if we can get our acts together, we will be able to now have a smooth sailing as far as government is concerned.
All of this coming from this administration, the Buhari administration, and looking at it from the view, point of view of the fact that the president is all out for anti-corruption. What does this say? Isn't this dealing a big blow to the government itself?
Well, first of all, there are two steps to corruption. The first is to prevent it, and the second is to prosecute those who are involved in it. And corruption is still going on at a certain level of government, but the president is doing his best by getting involved to see it being stamped. But the integrity question he has before Nigerians is the very fact that people are very much concerned that those within the inner cycle of power are being given some form of protection. Then he appeared to be strong. He is a lion when it comes to going after distant thieves, and then those that are very close, he becomes a lamb, and that is a very big problem to the integrity of that anti-corruption crusade. So for now, he has taken steps which shows that he listened to what Nigerians were saying.
Our lawmaker of the week is Senate Majority Leader, Senator Ahmad Lawan, representing Yobe North Senatorial District. He speaks with us on his new position, politics in the Senate, executive and legislature tensions in past weeks, and much more.
Initially, the party sent a letter asking that you be made Senate leader, but that wasn't done. But now here you are, 2017, January, you were made the Senate leader, and just in less than 2 months, the party is coming to the National Assembly to meet with its caucus. You think that is because of your new position as the Senate leader? We want to find out what the next level will be from here now after this re-engagement.
The party was like not coming here because it felt bad. You recall that the party had a clear directive for the APC caucus on how the leadership structure should be like, and that didn't happen until recently, and therefore it was like, okay, now that things have taken shape or are taking shape, the party should come and visit the caucus, and I think the timing was very critical, because before then maybe it wouldn't have been a single APC caucus, and that would have been a negative thing for the party itself. Even if the party does not come in, we have no alternative in the legislature not to support the executive arm of government, because we are in it together. We are voted by Nigerians as a party. When I contested on the platform of the APC, and therefore we just have to work together. I believe that there is independence of the various arms of government, but I also believe that there is significant interdependence between the two branches of government, particularly the legislature and the executive arm of government. So we just have to work together. There's no way.
Yeah, so what are the issues raised by your senators?
What senators particularly raised was the need for continuous consultation, continuous cooperation between the two arms of government. That is to say that if there is any issue, major issue, that will come from the side of the executive, let there be some kind of consultation prior to getting these things to the National Assembly. And I'm a believer of that. I believe very strongly that what makes the legislature and the executive work together successfully is consultation. What happens behind the scenes? What happens before any executive communication? works far better, helps much more, and is more effective and efficient in making things work better for governance as far as the two arms are concerned. It's not what is sent or what is said in the chamber.
Some Nigerians have tagged that as lobbying, that you're looking for maybe Ghana must go. Senators have not been getting Ghana must go under this 8th Senate. That's why they are not happy and they don't want to push for somebody like Magu's confirmation or the Rex and so on. Can you clear the air?
This is democracy, and anybody can form an opinion, and maybe until he or she hears a superior argument. But my take is lobbying is fundamental, lobbying is critical, lobbying is inevitable in a democratic arrangement like ours. We copied our system, the presidential system, from the United States of America. Lobbying, in fact, is an industry. Let me say industry, not in terms of what is spent, but what people do. People lobby for almost everything. As the chief marketer of executive bills, for example, in the Senate, I feel that someone should call me and try to explain to me this bill that is coming from the executive is meant to achieve so much for our people. Because I'm the one to lead the debate. So I should be able to convince my colleagues. So what is wrong in someone telling me that this is what we want to achieve? I'm not asking the person to give me money. It doesn't mean giving money to anybody when you say lobbying. But this is the very narrow definition many people have given to lobbying in Nigeria. But lobbying is broader than this. Lobbying is essential, and I believe that this is the way to go. We should encourage it.
Now let's go to the issue of budget. All the committees in the Senate come to you, they report to you as the Senate leader. Nigerians are worried and they're like, let's leave all of these altercations and everything and move this country forward. What is happening to the budget?
When you say Nigerians are saying, let's leave all this altercation, and I want you to understand very clearly that nothing has affected the processing of the budget by this National Assembly. Nothing.
But you said by second week of March, the budget should have been ready.
When you have to deal with over 100 committees between the Senate and the House, when you have to deal with more than maybe you have 36 or say over 30 ministries and over 400 or 500 agencies of government, you know that the variables can be so difficult to predict. But we, as a National Assembly, we wanted to have passed the budget by the second week of March. But we have been working on it. Our committees, the subcommittees of the Appropriations Committee have been very busy, and we couldn't pass it in March as we desired or wanted to, but we are still working on it. What I expected from you actually is commendation for the way the National Assembly is handling the budget this year. Let me refresh your memory. Last year, from the very beginning of laying the budget by the appropriation bill by Mr. President, after some weeks, the budget was described as missing. Then so many things happened, including after it was signed. So this year, you have not had anything like that. As of last week, about 8 to 10 of our subcommittees in the Senate were not able to present and defend their budgets before the Appropriations Committee. It is our hope that this week they will be through with that. The Appropriations Committee would have started the compilation and collation of the appropriation bill as processed by. So I think the National Assembly has done so well in this respect.
Okay, now let's talk about some of the critical bills that are lying in the National Assembly that Nigerians feel you should be able to achieve, and of which you gave yourself through an agenda that you're going to fulfill, like the Petroleum Governance Industry Bill, which I know was laid the other day. It's awaiting second reading. And then you have also talked about several economic bills that you feel are going to help out. And for example, the National Transport Commission Bill and all of that. Leader, have you people set a timeline for yourselves by which you must achieve this before the political period comes?
We have finished with the transportation bill. It's there for concurrence in the House of Representatives. The second bill you talked about is the PIB governance bill. It was laid last week, and we will consider the report, I guess, when we come back from the Easter recess, by the grace of God. You are witness to the Senate passing the amendment on the Electoral Act 2010, and we are determined to ensure that we do whatever is right for us to do to support the executive arm of government. But I want to assure you and Nigerians who are listening that this Senate and indeed the National Assembly is focused in ensuring that we support Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, in his economic transformation of Nigeria. I want you to always judge us on what we have been able to do. Give us some credit, and then task us on those things that we have not done well, or those things that we have not done at all.
Yes, like some of the things you have really gotten very well, for example, is the amendment of the Procurement Act, but it is still lying right there at the House of Representatives. So people say maybe there's no synergy between the Senate and the House of Reps.
I'm speaking for the Senate at the moment.
Yes.
Maybe when you have...
but well, you've done the amendment, you've done very well on your own part, but there still needs to be that synergy for this to be signed.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. They have their own program, their own calendar. Normally, the two leaderships of the leadership of the two chambers meet regularly to ensure that we operate on the same wavelength, that we are able to give the maximum support that the executive needs to achieve the overall targets for this administration.
Thank you so much, leader. Like you said, the information out there is very scanty.
Yeah,
so the job is left to you to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, leader. We're grateful. And with that, we wrap up this edition of the Hallowed Chambers. Join us same time next week for a fresh edition of the program.
And remember, you can reach us via social media using the handle at TVC Connect hashtag the Hallowed Chambers to tell us how you feel about the program. I'm Joke Adisa.
And I'm Somna Sambu. See you next time.